Hello and welcome back to the Way to Native Chronicles. You know, when you're making videos for YouTube, there's quite a bit involved, and the camera is a pretty important aspect of it. So what I'd like to do is divert for a few minutes to the subject of videography and the use of cameras and what's involved in making these videos, because you know, I think like anyone who goes through the trouble of putting videos together, you want the product to be as good as possible, and really it's a service to those who are watching it as well. And one of the aspects of this channel that really needed improvement, I felt, was the audio. So I've finally broken down and I've bought myself a better camera, something with an external microphone. So this is not going to be the usual fare for this channel. It's going to be kind of a techie subject, but I thought maybe some of you might be interested in this, because really it all comes down to you, the subscribers and viewers of this channel, that I could buy this camera, because essentially the money I've made off ad revenue on this channel has gone right straight back into the camera costs on this, all in order to improve the visual and the audio quality of the channel, which I hope goes well. You know, let me know if you noticed an improvement, because I sure hope you have, because I spent some money on this. What I got was a Canon XA-11 camera. It's really a fine unit, and it lets me hook in an external microphone of different types. Right now I've got just a cheap microphone. It's a condenser. I have it hanging over my head here. You can see it, like here. Dip it down. You see it? No, I guess not. Here it is. So I got myself a boom for it, and a long cable, so I could string it from the camera to the boom, because it makes a lot of difference. I find how close the microphone is to you, and really in terms of audio, the built-in microphones on cameras are just pretty crappy, right? So even having a fairly cheap condenser mic that's external, it still makes a big difference, I think. And what I want to do in this video is I want to prove to you in what ways that happens. I have had to do a lot of experimenting with different setups, and so that involved running a lot of test sequences with different settings. And so this is going to be a very techy video. It's maybe not for everyone. In fact, it probably isn't for everyone. But I suspect there are a lot of people out there who maybe want to start a YouTube channel, or start doing some better recording, or are interested in photography in general. We're not, just because we're hunters or reloaders and stuff like that, doesn't mean that's the only thing we're interested in life. So maybe some of you will appreciate this, and also there's maybe some people viewing this that are kind of camera buffs, and so let's just look at this. What I'm going to do, it's going to be kind of dry. I'm going to be turning on the camera with a certain setting, talking about it, making some comments on the what I think the results will be, which I don't know at the time of that recording. What I can tell you now is I really like the wide-angle lens that came with this kit that I bought, which included more than just the XA-11 camera. But I noticed later on I was getting sort of sun dogs. You'll see that as you view the rest of this video, and those, I think that's the quality of the lens, or just the fact that I can't fit the hood over the lens when I'm using that wide angle. So I guess I'm not going to use the wide angle for this stuff, at least inside. What are some of the other things? Well, I guess we'll kind of run across them as we do. I've made a few mistakes on stating what the distance from the camera to me is, but I put corrections and subtitles on here. So what I've done is I've presented each scene with its settings, and I have some text. I think it's right over here, showing what the settings are that it's being filmed at, and in red I have the setting that has changed from the previous scene. So I hope that helps you out. I think what I'm going to be settling on is basically the mic attenuation turned on and the mic cutoff turned on. Those were kind of the trickiest things. What really surprised me in this video was the poor quality of the audio when I had the mic attached to the top of the camera. I had no idea that it was going to be that much noise from the internal mechanisms of the camera transferring to the mic. So I could improve that down the road if I get, because I do have a mic holder with this camera that I can attach and have it on a cushion mount and put a mic in there. So that may come someday too. But for now, because of that hum that comes from the camera to the microphone when it's mounted on the camera, I'm going to be using the mic on the boom as often as I can. So I'm really glad I bought that mic boom as well. So without further ado, let's get into this. Okay, this is the start of the first test of the video camera and audio setup that I'm going to do here. So what I'm starting off here with now is using the new Canon XA11 camera. I've got my little battery powered flood lamp going there, and my light from the side, and I've got the microphone on the boom. This time I turned the mic on because that's something I really got to remember to do if I use a mic. So very easy to record a whole sequence without any sound if you don't turn that mic on. It's a battery powered one, so that's one reason for not using battery powered. But anyways, I'd like to give this a run through the paces using this camera in a few different configurations, and also the old Canon HFR 800 camera as well. Already I can see that I'm getting a much wider view angle on this camera. It's only positioned 3 feet away from me, the lens, and it's already broad enough that I can, usually the other camera I have to put it another 3 feet back before I can get a picture of this view. So that part is good. I want to see how the richness of the colors and the sharpness of the video compares to the Canon as well. Maybe try some different lighting scenarios, maybe try it without the flood lamp and see how good this thing does in low light using just my incandescent lamps that are on. But also of importance is the boom. So I have the mic set up on the boom above me, and if I talk up towards it, it probably will change a little bit than when I'm sitting here. But hopefully this is already good, and I think what I'll do next is I'm going to take the mic off the boom. I'm going to mount it on top of the camera, give it a little test like that. Then I'm going to try the camera without using just the internal microphone, and I'll also try then for the picture quality without the flood lamp on, and then we'll go to the old little camera and we'll run through that. Oh, and the other thing too that I want to do is I have a wide angle lens that comes with this camera. Might be interesting to see what kind of a picture that produces, because I think if I move it back or whatever and zoom in a bit, I can kind of fuzz out the background a little bit, take the focus off that, which might give an interesting look as well. So a lot of things to try out, and this is just doing the indoor portion of it. So next we'll go to putting the mic just on top of the camera and see if that makes any big difference. Okay, now, so this is just the same setup as the previous sequence. The only difference with this one is now I have the mic mounted just on top of the camera, which is a whole lot less trouble. So I kind of hope that this is going to work really good for doing the in the reloading room type sequences, because it's a bit of a hassle to set up the boom. So I think this setup might work very well. The microphone might not be the best if you're moving the camera around, zooming in and out, where you get some mechanical noises from the camera. But if it's just sitting like this, hey, pretty good, right? So let's try it that way. Okay, now here we are with the same basic camera setup, except that now the external microphone is the condenser microphone. It's not connected to the camera at all, and we're just using the mic that's built into the camera, which I think gives from my past test, gives a bit of a more kind of an echoey sound to it, and not as nice as the external microphone, even though the external microphone I'm using is a pretty cheap one, but at least it's a condenser mic, so I have a feeling it's going to be an advantage to use the external mic and maybe have it mounted to the camera, which will be sufficient. So, but once I play this back and listen to it through earphones, then we'll see. So I think the next thing I'm going to try to do is I think I'm going to try a little sequence just like it is now. Maybe I'll plug the external mic back in on the camera, and I'm going to turn off the battery powered floodlight and see whether or not I can get away with that or not as far as picture quality goes. Okay, now I've turned off the flood lamp and I've repositioned this light here. I'm not sure what's going to be the best. Well, you know, I could have it just like this perhaps, if I've got the external mic plugged back in, but I've turned the flood lamp off, okay? And this is giving kind of harsher shadows, at least from the preview screen on the camera. So I'm not sure if I can get away with this or not. Maybe this camera is so good in low light, maybe I can just run this way too, which would be great. So we'll see how that goes. Next, let's give this camera a try with a wide angle lens. Okay, so now I've put the wide angle lens on this camera, and now this is a kind of a cheapy wide angle lens that came with this general kit that I got for the camera. So I'm not sure that this is going to be a real good image or not, but I really have to give this thing a try. So the camera is still set at the same distance from me, about three feet from the lens, as the previous shots with a normal lens, and I can see it is giving me quite a bit of a wider angle, which is nice. So if it does do that and gives a crisp image and good color and stuff like that, then I'm fine with it. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to zoom it ahead a little bit, and let's see if I can find my rocker here. Oh yeah, okay, let's just I'll zoom it in a bit. We'll see if it makes the background blurry or not. Okay, so now I'm kind of to where I was before. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'm going to move this back a little bit and zoom it in even some more. Let's see what happens then. Okay, so now I'm sitting kind of, well, let's just try that. Zoomed in like that. So if I was filming like this, is that a better picture or not? Maybe I'll turn it a little bit, the camera. Yeah. Is that better or is that worse? I don't know. It looks not too bad on the viewfinder, so I guess we'll see. And now the mic is a little further back too, which is another thing. So if I have this camera mounted back here, I'm going to pop the microphone up on the boom here and leave this camera set up the way it is and see what difference it is, because now I'm talking a little bit further away from the microphone. So that can also make a difference. Okay, so now I have still the wide angle lens on. Hopefully it's giving a good picture, but the only thing different from the previous scene is now I've taken that external microphone and I've moved it back onto the boom, and I'm hoping that the sound quality will be a little bit better, because I am sitting about, I guess, about 6 feet from the lens of the camera. So but with that boom I'm just like about this far away from the boom, so that's not too bad. While I'm at it, since I got things set up like this, I might as well give this a shot with just the camera's mic too, and see how that compares now that the distance to the camera is a little further away. So we'll give that a try too. But here's your mic test with the wide angle lens zoomed in a bit. So maybe the background is also blurred a little bit, I'm not sure. We'll see. Okay, so now we're at another iteration of this testing where I have the wide angle lens on the camera. It's zoomed in a fair bit. It's now, instead of being 3 feet from the lens, I'm now 6 feet from the lens. And I've taken the external microphone completely off. So first did a test with the boom, I did a test with the mic on the camera, and now I'm doing a test of just using the microphone that's built into the camera. So the sound might be a little bit different now again, but aside from that, I think I've covered most of the bases here. So we'll see how this goes. It'll be interesting to see the results. Okay, so now we're going to do another test. I have the wide angle lens on the camera. The camera's about 6 feet away from me, and I've got the mic on the boom. But this time what I've done is I've turned the mic attenuation from on to automatic, because I think the sound was coming through pretty low on the recording. So for in this room it might be better to go with mic attenuation on automatic. I had it on before because I was filming in outdoor circumstances, and it did seem to be a little better, but this room is different. I think I had in the living room upstairs, I found attenuation on and mic cut on, or no, I guess it was automatic or on, something like that. That seemed to work the best. So now I'm just taking the mic attenuation off, and they'll see if it's okay or not. But now I have the mic on the boom above me, so I'll try this once more quickly with the mic attached to the camera and see if that makes a difference from the 6 foot distance. Okay, so now same setup as before, except I've taken the external mic off the boom and I put it right on the camera. See how that works. So the mic is a little bit further away from me, about six feet away, so that might make a difference in terms of simplicity. This having the mic right on the camera like that instead of having to resort to the boom is definitely a lot more convenient. But if it's so much better with the boom mic, then that's what I'll do. So, and again, we're still on the wide angle lens. The camera's about 6 feet away from me. I'm not sure how good this lens is, but we'll find out when we see it through the headphones and look at it on the computer screen. But so far it's looking not too bad, so I'll take a look at this. This is with the mic attenuation on. I wasn't sure if I had the record button going, but the camera's got the the stock lens back on, taking the wide angle off, moved the camera close to me so it's now 3 feet away from me, and I've got the mic mounted on top of the camera, and I have mic attenuation turned to automatic now, so we'll see how that sounds. Okay, so we're going to try another test, very similar to the last one. The only thing different is that in this case the microphone's on the camera, the external mic, and I've just went and turned attenuation from automatic right to off. So I'm not sure if that's going to make a lot of difference, but we'll see. And here's another test. This one has mic attenuation turned to off, and I've also turned the mic cut from on to off. So this is mic attenuation off and mic cut off. Okay, and this one here is with the mic cut off and attenuation turned to automatic. There's just so many different combinations you can do with this, but and I've got the camera with the regular lens back on it, with the external mic mounted on the camera. So we'll see how this goes. I have the mic mounted on the camera. I have the regular lens on. I'm 3 feet away. I have mic attenuation turned to automatic, and I have mic cut turned to on, because it's sounding to me when the playback's like the mic cut does make quite a bit of difference. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this test, and I'm going to put the mic back on the boom with these same settings. Do that next. Okay, in this sequence here, what I've got is I've got the same as the previous one where I had but I've taken the mic from the external mic from being mounted on the camera and put it on the boom. And I've left the I put the attenuation settings to automatic and left the mic cut to on. So this is very much similar to the very beginning sequence that I recorded here, except that in that case I had mic attenuation turned from automatic to on, and again it had the mic cuts turned to on as well. So just based on my playback on the viewfinder on this camera, it's starting to seem like you need to have mic cut turned on, and maybe attenuation as well. But attenuation does tend to kind of reduce the volume of your recording, which can be adjusted once you're in video editing too. So maybe having it this way with the mic is better than when the mic is on the camera. But I'm also a little wondering about whether having attenuation turned to on or automatic is going to make any difference. It's starting to look like mic cut being set to on is going to be generally the best though. So hopefully I'm getting there, but we'll find out once I see this played back on the computer screen and have some headphones on. Okay, so shall we do this test with the infrared?
Yep.
Okay, this camera has an infrared ability too, so it's able to film in total darkness, and I just realized that that's one test that I should include in this film here. So let's give this a test. The infrared on this camera will record so that the hotter areas are in green or they're in white. So we'll probably try it in both settings. We'll start off with the green.
Okay.
Okay, where's my chair? Okay, well, so here we are in total darkness, but it's recording okay, eh?
Dark.
Is this in the green setting? I guess so, eh?
It's dark.
So, I mean, it's so dark in here that you just stumble around in total blackness, so this does give an idea, right, buddy boy? See, there's getting tickled there where you can't even see it's coming from. Okay, let's try it with the non-green setting, so it's black and white. I'll try that for a second. So this is
Don't tickle me.
the white setting. So this is a setting that if we're camping or if we shoot an animal and it's late at night and we're skinning it, which does happen to us, then we can still film what's going on, even if it's total darkness outside. So.
Why do you have to tickle me all the time?
Okay, so we'll conclude this test then. Okay, I think that wraps it up a bit. As I said at the beginning, the setting that I'm settling on is using the external mic mounted on the boom and the attenuation and the mic cutoff turned to on, and it seems to give me the best results as far as audio quality goes. I've kind of abandoned that wide angle lens, I think, because it's given too many of these sundogs on it. But if it was working well, I would probably prefer to use that. So I hope you found this interesting, and if you have, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and then catch more videos coming down the pike. So the next ones will be more on the outdoors, hunting and such. So from the Way to Native Chronicles, God bless.
Needn't then la getting carrots. Getting lots.